How do you do? I'm very happy to have this personal visit with you. Won't you please be seated? Now, may I request that you forget all your problems and just relax while I bring you the master key. This key will unlock the door to any opportunity your mind can conceive. The promise right here at the beginning of our visit, I'm going to make you a promise. If you decide definitively what you want most during your entire lifetime and write it down on paper so that I can read it, I will give you the master key. This key will open the door to the attainment of your desires, whatever they may be. The exact moment when I will deliver this master key to you will depend entirely upon when you are ready to receive it. This is the first of 13 messages I will deliver to you. Definiteness of purpose in each message. I will describe the master key in terms you will understand if you are ready. Now, I shall give you the first cue as to the nature of this great master key, which has been responsible for all great successes in every calling and every part of the world. Please listen carefully because you may discover the secret of the master key in this first visit. You may get your first cue as to its nature when I tell you that psychologists have discovered a natural law. This law is the very foundation of all personal successes. The power of belief. I can describe this law in one short sentence. Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, the mind can achieve. Isn't that a profound statement? Notice that it says nothing about the need for education. It simply states that whatever your mind can conceive and believe, your mind can achieve. If you want evidence that the mind can achieve whatever it conceives without formal education, consider Thomas A. Edison. He conceived the idea of becoming an inventor and lived to become the world's greatest scientist in the field of invention, with only 3 months of common school education. The natural law. When I first heard Andrew Carnegie describe this natural law, which makes it possible for you, me, and everyone else to write their own price tag in life and attain it, I became so enthused that I began to search for the power behind it. My curiosity led me to the discovery of the master key, which I shall reveal to you if you are ready to receive it. My search led me to the study of spiritual forces with which all of us are blessed. It was in this field that I came upon a clue that has enabled me to help millions of people find their earthly destinies. The discovery. I want to describe my discovery in the simplest terms possible because it will reveal to you why it is true that whatever the mind can conceive and believe, the mind can achieve, regardless of how many times you may have failed in the past or how lofty your aims and hopes may be. I got my first fleeting glimpse of this profound law while being coached by Andrew Carnegie during the organization of the Science of Success philosophy. I had just finished telling Mr. Carnegie that I feared he had chosen the wrong person to give the world its first practical philosophy of personal success. I felt this way because of my youth, lack of education, and lack of finances. Andrew Carnegie's wisdom. At this point, Mr. Carnegie delivered a lecture that I shall never forget because it changed my entire life. It paved the way for my helping you and millions of others, some not yet born, to change their lives. Mr. Carnegie said, "Let me call your attention to a great power which is under your control, a power greater than poverty, greater than the lack of education, greater than all your fears and superstitions combined. It is the power to take possession of your own mind and direct it to whatever ends you may desire. The power of the mind. This profound power," Mr. Carnegie continued, "is the gift of the Creator. It must have been considered the greatest of all his gifts to man because it is the only thing over which man has complete and unchallengeable control. When you speak of your poverty and lack of education," Mr. Carnegie explained, "you are simply directing your mind power to attract these undesirable circumstances. It is true that whatever your mind feeds upon, your mind attracts to you. The importance of definiteness of purpose. Now you see why it is important to recognize that all success begins with definiteness of purpose, with a clear picture in your mind of precisely what you want from life." Mr. Carnegie continued his speech with a description of a great universal truth. This truth made such an impact on my mind that I began then and there to give myself a new outlook on life. I set goals far above my previous achievements, which shocked my friends and relatives when they heard about it. The 2 sealed envelopes. Mr. Carnegie said, "Everyone comes to Earth blessed with the privilege of controlling their mind power and directing it to whatever ends they may choose. But everyone also brings with them at birth the equivalent of 2 sealed envelopes. One envelope is labeled, 'The riches you may enjoy,' if you take possession of your own mind and direct it to the ends of your own choice. The other is labeled, 'The penalties you must pay,' if you neglect to take possession of your mind and direct it. The contents of the envelopes. Mr. Carnegie revealed the contents of these two envelopes. In the one labeled, riches, is this list of blessings: sound health, peace of mind, a labor of love of your own choice, freedom from fear and worry, a positive mental attitude, material riches of your own choice and quantity. In the sealed envelope labeled, penalties, is this list of prices one must pay for neglecting to take possession of their own mind: ill health, fear and worry, indecision and doubt, frustration and discouragement throughout life, poverty and want, the whole flock of evils consisting of envy, greed, jealousy, anger, hatred, and superstition. Your mission. Now, my mission in life is to help you and everyone who needs my help to open and use the contents of the sealed envelope labeled, riches. The starting point from which you must take off, if you wish to write your own ticket for the remainder of your life, is described in these simple instructions. Step 1. Define your major desire. Procure a neat, pocket-sized notebook or a loose leaf affair. On page 1, write down a clear description of your major desire in life, the one circumstance, position, or thing you will accept as your idea of success. Remember, your only limitations are those you set up in your own mind or permit others to set up for you. Step 2. What will you give in return? On page 2 of your notebook, write down a clear statement of precisely what you intend to give in return for what you desire from life. Start by writing where you stand now and begin giving. Step 3. Memorize and repeat. Memorize both of your statements, what you desire and what you intend to give in return. Repeat them at least a dozen times daily, always ending with this expression of gratitude: I ask not, O divine providence, for more riches, but for moral wisdom with which to accept and use wisely the riches I received at birth, the power to control and direct my mind to whatever ends I desire. The power of gratitude. If you accept and express this profound prayer in the same spirit of humble sincerity in which I pass it on to you, a new and better world will reveal itself to you. This world will reflect the circumstances and things you yourself have created. Next steps. Next, I will give you a description of the second principle of success. Through its application, you may make use of the education and experience of others to get the necessary help you need in attaining your definite major purpose in life. Closing gratitude. Now, let me close this first visit with my favorite expression of gratitude: O divine providence, I ask not for more riches, but for moral wisdom with which to make wiser use of the riches you gave me at birth, the power to control and direct my own mind to whatever ends I desire. The master mind principle. We now come to the second of the 17 principles that lead to the master key. This key will open the door to the attainment of your definite major purpose in life. This principle of success is called the master mind principle. I want you to understand the nature of the master mind principle because you must use it before you can take possession of the master key. A simple definition of the master mind is this: it consists of two or more people who work in perfect harmony for the attainment of a definite purpose. The power of the master mind. Here are some interesting facts about the master mind that give you an idea of how important it is and how necessary it is for you to embrace this principle and make use of it in attaining success in your chosen occupation. First, it is the principle through which you may borrow and use the education, experience, influence, and perhaps the capital of other people in carrying out your own plans in life. It is the principle through which you can accomplish in 1 year more than you could accomplish without it in a lifetime if you depended entirely upon your own efforts for success. Biblical example of the master mind. I have heard well-informed Bible students say that the first known application of the master mind was that which existed between the Nazarene and his 12 disciples. Of one fact I am absolutely sure: when you form a true mastermind alliance with others and work with them in a spirit of perfect harmony, you can draw freely upon the spiritual forces within you to carry out your plans and desires. Protection against failure. I also know that the mastermind principle can give you absolute protection against failure, provided always that your purpose in using this principle is beneficial to all whom you influence. In my research while organizing the science of success, I had the collaboration of practically every outstanding successful man this country has produced during the past 50 years. I can tell you definitely that their success was due mainly to their knowledge and application of the master mind principle. The American way of life. I also wish to call your attention to the fact that our great American way of life and our unmatchable system of free enterprise have been built upon the master mind principle. The greatest document ever conceived by the mind of man, the Declaration of Independence, is a perfect example of the mastermind principle in action. The 56 men who signed the Declaration of Independence knew full well that it might turn out to be either a license of freedom for all mankind or a death warrant that would cause each of the signers to be hanged. Examples of the mastermind in action. Let us now see how the mastermind principle has brought success to people we all know. Kate Smith. When Kate Smith began her career as a singer, she had difficulty earning enough to pay her living expenses. She might never have made her singing pay if she had not discovered and applied the mastermind principle. She formed a mastermind alliance with Ted Collins, and according to a report I saw in Reader's Digest, Kate Smith has earned upwards of $30 million and is still in the upper brackets of income. Edgar Bergen and Charlie McCarthy. Edgar Bergen and his famous wooden companion, Charlie McCarthy, used to play anywhere they could get an engagement. Often, all they got for their services was a meal. But Edgar Bergen was a smart man in the field of entertainment. He formed a mastermind alliance that introduced him and Charlie to millions of people by radio and television. Today, he is no longer concerned about money. Henry Ford. The great Ford industrial empire started with the formation of a mastermind alliance between Henry Ford and his wife. At the beginning of his career, Henry Ford was shy and lacking self-confidence. It was Mrs. Ford who inspired him with the faith and courage to go ahead with the perfection of his horseless carriage, despite discouragement from relatives and neighbors. The United States of America. The Federation of States known as the United States of America is the richest and most powerful nation civilization has yet produced. The secret of our strength and riches lies in our form of government, through which all our states function in a spirit of harmony based on the mastermind principle. Applying the mastermind principle, if you work for a salary or wages, you have a marvelous opportunity to promote yourself into a higher income and a more responsible position by forming a mastermind alliance with your associate workers, including management. In my next visit, I will give you further instructions on how to apply the mastermind principle to increase your income and promote yourself to a higher position with the full cooperation of your management. 3 steps to success. But right now, I want you to do 3 things before our next visit. Decide definitely where you wish to be and what you wish to be doing during the next 3 years. Decide how much money you desire to earn and what you are going to do to earn it. Form a mastermind alliance with at least one person in your immediate family and at least one other person among those to whom you are selling your services. By taking these 3 steps, you will have gone a long way toward appropriating the great master key to success. The price of success. There is no such thing as something for nothing. Everything, including your personal success, has a price that must be paid. The only price you are requested to pay for the present is the effort necessary to do the 3 simple things I have suggested. Control your mental attitude. Before you begin to take these 3 steps, there is one important fact I wish you to remember. Control your mental attitude and make yourself friendly and agreeable with everyone with whom you are closely associated if you expect friendly cooperation in return. Indifference cannot create a mastermind alliance for you. A negative mental attitude can bring you nothing but failure. Remember always, you are where you are and what you are because of your mental attitude and how you relate yourself to other people. Your mental attitude is the one and only thing over which you have complete control. Success must be planned. Success is something that has to be planned and earned in advance. True, there is such a thing as luck, but remember that luck is something you can create for yourself if you know the rules and follow them as I give them to you. Remember too that success in the higher brackets of achievement is something that can be had only by taking others along with you. The best definition of success I know is this. Success is the knowledge with which to get whatever you want from life without violating the rights of others and by helping others to acquire it. The formula for success. There is a known formula for the attainment of success, and it is as definite and certain as the rules of mathematics or the principles of science. My purpose in these visits is to bring you that formula in simpler terms so that you can understand and apply it. But I can never give you that for which you are not ready. If you are ready to advance into the higher brackets of success, you will recognize this fact by your willingness to follow the simple instructions I shall give you as we go along. The line between success and failure, this thing called success, is a very profound and interesting thing because the line of demarcation between success and failure is so slight that it is often hard to tell where one ends and the other begins. For example, in my association with the late Henry Ford, I recognized that he had thousands of people working for him who had much more education than he did, more magnetic personalities, more ability to make friends, and a much better chance of succeeding than Mr. Ford had when he was working for wages. But Mr. Ford had one simple quality the others who worked for him did not possess. I will clearly describe this quality for you in my future visits with you. The quality of Henry Ford, meanwhile, I would be interested in knowing if you can describe this one simple quality Henry Ford possessed, which made him the greatest industrialist this nation has ever produced. In my next visit, I will give you a definite clue as to the success quality that helped Henry Ford spread his influence throughout the world and make himself richer than Croesus, despite the fact that he had only a meager common school education. Closing thoughts. Until then, please be of good cheer. Just remember that your only real limitation is the one you accept and set up in your own mind.